This conference will now be recorded.
So what is the last class?
Data types.
Okay. Flow వెళ్తుంది కదా క్లాసెస్? ఓకే, ప్రాబ్లం లేదు కదా? ఓకే ఓకే, లెట్స్ ఓపెన్ అనుకుంటా నావిగేటర్. ఇప్పుడు ఎన్ని క్లాసులు అయిపోయినాయి? 3 క్లాసెస్ అయిపోయినాయి, 4 క్లాసెస్ అయిపోయినాయా?
3 అయినాయి అన్నాయి, ఇది 4th.
ఫోర్ డేస్ క్లాస్ జరగలేదా? 23 జరగలేదా క్లాస్?
లేదన్నా.
23, 24, 25 3 డేస్ జరగలేదా? 23, 25 ఓకే, ఇవాళ జరుగుతుంది.
నిన్న జాయిన్ అయ్యామన్నా మేము.
అవునా? ఓకే, నిన్న సండే కదా?
మొన్న ఫ్రైడే లేదు, పోస్ట్ పోన్ చేసాము సండేకి అన్నారని చెప్పి జాయిన్ అయ్యాం. సరేలే అని చెప్పి ఇంకా మళ్ళీ లాగౌట్ అయిపోయింది.
ఓకే, అది అంటే నన్ను కొంచెం ప్రెజర్ పెట్టారనమాట వాళ్ళు. ఏం లేదు, నాకు మొన్న కొంచెం ఫీవరిష్గా వచ్చింది అనమాట ఫ్రైడే రోజు. బాగా పొద్దున్న లేసరికి ఎనర్జీ అసలు డ్రాప్ అయిపోయింది. కొంచెం టైఫాయిడ్, డెంగ్యూ అనిపించింది. అంటే నాకు కొంచెం తెలిసిపోయింది బాడీ సిమ్టమ్స్ అనిపించేసరికి తీసుకోలేకపోయినా క్లాసెస్. ఇక ఆ రోజు ఫ్రైడే తీసుకోలేదు క్లాసెస్. నేను ఫ్రైడే
పర్వాలేదన్నా,
ఇప్పుడు బాగానే ఉంది. ఒక 2 డేస్ ఫ్రైడే సాటర్డే ఒకటి అలా ఉంది. ఇక నేను సాటర్డే మాట ఇచ్చిన విషయం వాళ్ళు ఆ టైంలో నేను వాళ్ళకి ఫోన్ చేసి చెప్పాను అనమాట. ఫోను మరి మెసేజ్ కాల్ చేసి చెప్పాను.
ఓకే,
వాళ్ళు ఇక నన్ను ఇట్లా అయితే ఎట్లా ఫ్రైడే తీసుకోకపోతే ఎట్లా, 5 days చెప్పాలి కదా క్లాస్కి, ఇలా ఇలా అంటే వీకెండ్స్ అన్న తీసుకోండి అంటే సరే అన్నట్టు మాట్లాడుంటా నేను. అసలు అది మైండ్ లో కూడా గుర్తులేదు ఇంకా. మనం దీంట్లో చేస్తున్నాం కదా మీ క్లాసెస్ అన్ని, గూగుల్ కొలాబ్ లో చేస్తున్నాం కదా మనం వర్క్?
కాదన్నా,
అనుకుంటలోనే చేస్తున్నాం మనం. మీ ఫైల్స్ ఏంటి డెస్క్టాప్ మీద ఉన్నాయి ఏంటి మీది?
అంటే మన ఫస్ట్ క్లాస్ మొన్న థర్స్డేనే జూపిటర్ లో చేశారన్న. అన్నకొండలో చేయమందాం అంటే ఆ రోజే చేసాము. దానికి ముందు రోజు కొలాబ్ లో చేసాం.
దాని ముందు కొలాబ్ చేశారు ADS. ఓకే, మనీ సాయి ఇక్కడ ఉందా? ఓకే, ఫైన్. మీ ఫోల్డర్ కనిపించపోయేసరికి ఓకే. సో డేటా టైప్స్ మొత్తం కంప్లీట్ చేశాను మీకు నేను.
అయిపోయినాయి అన్న.
10 డేటా టైప్స్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశా కదా? ఓకే ఓకే, ఫైన్. సో ట్రై విత్ అదర్ డేటా టైప్స్. ఓకే, సో ఇప్పుడు ఏంటంటే, సో పైథాన్ బిల్ట్ ఇన్ ఫంక్షన్స్. సో విల్ టాక్ అబౌట్ ది Python built-in functions. Okay. Recordings వస్తున్నాయి కదా?
వస్తున్నాయమ్మా.
ఓకే, సో Python built-in functions అంటే ఏంటంటే, so some of the functions it can help you. Okay, so the basic functions it can help you to performing some basic operations. Okay. So functions, what exactly the function is? So functions are is nothing but it's just some performing some specific operations, tasks. Okay. So functions can performing some specific task actually. Okay.
Okay.
Performs the some specific tasks. Okay. So basically in any programming language there are two types of functions are there. Okay. The first one is the predefined functions. Okay. Second one is user defined functions. అర్థమైందా? So predefined functions and user defined functions. Predefined function means the functions are already defined inside of the Python. Okay, already they are defined it. So you just need to use it. Already the functions are defined in Python. Okay, our task is that just we need to use it. But when it comes to the user defined functions, these functions has to be defined by the programmer, okay, in a program, in the program. Okay, so basically use predefined functions, you don't need to define yourself. Okay, you just go and use those particular functions in your program. But when it comes to the user defined functions, you have to define those particular functions before using in your program. Is it clear my point?
Yeah.
Let's see some of the predefined functions in Python programming language. Okay, some predefined functions. Predefined functions. So what are the predefined functions we have it? The first predefined function is, so you know, right, a print. Print is the predefined function. What is the purpose of the print function?
Execute.
To display,
Yeah.
some content. Okay, whatever it is, the content, it can be anything. Okay, or to display some info or some data. Okay, something on the screen. So second one వచ్చేసి, we already know it, id function. So what is the use of the id function? So it can help you to return the memory location. For example, if we have some object and the object it was stored in some specific memory location, if you want to access that particular memory location, then we can use the id functions. Okay, of any object. So your object means data. Okay, and third one is type function. Tell me what is the use of the type function?
To display.
To return, not a display. Display is the function by the printer. Rest of the things are doing some returning. Okay, to return the data type of anything or data type of any object. So your object is nothing but it's a data again. Okay, so I think these are the functions we already see in your previous classes itself. Okay, now for example, I would like to read the data from the keyboard. See something I'm typing on the screen, right? Typing something I'm typing on the keyboard, right? And which was displaying on the screen or not.
Yeah.
See, whatever the data I'm typing from the keyboard, if you want to access by the Python, okay, then we have a function is input function. So what exactly this one is, taking the data from the user. So how the user is giving from the keyboard only, right? Data
Yeah.
from keyboard. For example, if you want to type anything, keyboard or user, that we are calling it say input function. Okay, let's try to use those particular four functions, and so it can help you how we can use it. The first thing is that write a program, read. So read in the sense giving the input. Okay, read into data and display. Display means what? It's a print function, right? Display data and memory location and a data type. So these are the three things you want to display it. So here, if you want to read the data from the keyboard, then we can use the input function. So if input function was executed, then it can wait for some time, not some time, until unless you're entering something. For example, if you want to enter the integer, you can type the integer and you can enter it. So whatever the data you enter in this particular box, that it was written to the, okay, taking the data from the keyboard and giving to the program. Okay, giving to the program. So from the user, if you want to take any input, then input function will help you. And whatever the data it was taking from the user, that it can be providing to the program itself, okay, as an input. So to collect that particular information, you can defining the any one of the variable. So I want to display that particular data. So if you want to display the data of any variable, you just simply giving the variable name. Okay, what content is there inside of that particular variable, that it can be displayed. Okay. Okay. So now, so I would like to go for display the memory location, right? If you'd like to go for display the memory location, then we can use the id function, id of var. If you'd like to go for display the data type, then we can use the type of var. So this is the way we can able to go for enter the any data, and it was displaying the data, and it was displaying the memory location, and it was displaying the data type, right? So careful observe here, what is the drawback you are facing. You are executed this input so that we are giving 123, and this 123 will be holding into this variable. After that one, you are printing the data so that we are getting this result. After that one, you're displaying the memory location so that we are getting this result. And after that one, you're displaying the data type, right? So as of now, this is fine. But actually, I enter the integer data, but what it was displaying? What it was displayed?
String.
It's a string it was displayed, right?
Yeah.
So that's a problem we are facing. Okay. So now, same way you can try to read the float data. Okay. So if I enter the float, then it has to display the float data type, right? But unfortunately, it was displaying the string only. Okay. And one thing I want to tell you, if you want to, before you're reading anything, if you want to make it some kind of message info. So for example, I want to read the complex. So you have to mention the inside of the input function enter complex so that user can know it what he has to going, what exactly he would like to do that. Okay. So when once this is the message box was displayed, then we will know it what should the which type of data, which type of data should I enter it here. Okay. For example, I would like to go for enter the complex. So even if I enter the complex, then what I'm getting here, it's a string only, right? See,
Yeah.
the problem is here, if you enter the integer, if you enter the, okay, float, if you enter the complex, it was displaying the string data type only. So I would like to give you a small example. Addition of two numbers. If you go on to see the addition of two numbers, then which is the program should I do that? You should take the two inputs from the user. Yes or no?
Yeah.
You should take the two inputs from the user, and that it could be var1, and meanwhile you can take the one more variable or one more number, that's my var2, and I want to do that addition of two numbers, right? So that var1 plus var2. So here, if we enter the two integer numbers, if I enter the two integer numbers, I want to do that addition, then 12 and 45. Can you tell me what is the result here?
57.
It's a 57, but unfortunately it was showing me 1245. 1245. Okay. For example, if you enter the integer is a float, integer is a float, number 2 is a float, number 1 is a integer. Okay. For example, integer is a 12, my float is 12 point something else. Can you tell me what is the result of this one?
57, 56.
But see what observations, what kind of observation we did here. So 12 plus 45, it's a 57, we have to get it. But unfortunately, we are getting the result is 1245. Here you enter the data is 12. Here you enter the data is 45.56. But unfortunately, we are getting the another result. That means concatenation of these two things. The reason is here the default data type was, or the return data type of input function is string, so that even if I enter the integer data, it can be string format only. Because of that issue, we are getting the some kind of data inconsistency problem. Okay. To overcome that one, we have the data type conversion functions. Data type conversion functions, we have it. What are the data type conversion functions are there? What is the use of it? So these data type conversions are used for to convert one data type to another data type. To convert one data type to another data type. Clear? So if you want to convert one data type to another data type, we have the 9 data type conversion functions are there, except none type. So every data type class, it can be considered as the specific data type function. So for example, float, this is float function. For example, complex function. Okay. So for conversion of a bool function, we can use the bool function. We can use the string class, okay. We can use the list function. We can use the and tuple function, okay, and set function, and now last but not least, which is the dictionary function, dict function. Okay. So there are 9 data type conversions are there. Okay, so these functions, it help you. So instead of taking the integer string to integer, then we can use the int function. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me take this example. I would like to copy this one. You entered data is string, right? So that I want to be converting into the integer, then we can directly give you as input of the var to the int function. Then it was converting the string data type to integer data type. So if you enter the 12, default it was string data type, but the same data it was different data type. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
So the default data type is string. Now it was integer. Meanwhile, we can try for the float and other stuff. We can try for a float. So 12 point something. So actually this is the float, right? So to converting into the float, we should use the float function. Okay, that's my mistake. So here I enter the float. So the float, it was storing into this particular variable, and the default data type is string. That particular string float I'm converting into the float with help of the float function. Clear?
Yeah.
Next one is complex. So if you'd like to go for enter the complex, to read the complex data only or to convert the complex data type, then we can use the complex function. 12 plus 4j. So this is the data type conversion can help you. So rest of the data types can performing the same way. Okay, just remember these data type conversion functions. I hope you understood what is the importance of this one, right?
Yeah.
Any questions till now what we had done?
No.
Okay. So meanwhile, the Python programming language, which is having the number system conversions are there. Do you know number systems?
No.
Binary numbers,
Oh yeah.
octal numbers. So these are the number systems only, right?
Yeah.
Hexadecimal. Actually, these are not much important for us, but there is some basic built-in functions are there, so that I'm explaining here. Okay, decimal numbers. So basically, these are the number system. These are the standard number systems are there. So for each and every number system, it having its own representation in Python. So binary numbers are represented with 0b, and which should have only 0 and 1 only. Okay. So if you have any other number, it could be an error. So for example, so this is octal number 0 0 which is the thing, and it should have the maximum 7 only, so not more than 7 digit. Okay. Hexadecimal means, so the hexadecimals are represented with 0x, and it can be 0 to 9, 0 to 9, but it should have the A to F also. Okay. A to F, A to F, clear? A to F also it can have, it can make it the number actually. And decimal means 0 to 9 only, so the default it can be normal things. We don't have any kind of special representation. This kind of format, if you have any number, then that kind of numbers we are calling it a binary numbers or octal numbers or hexadecimal corresponding representation. Okay. So for example, if you have a number is, if you have a number is binary, I want to be converting into the decimal, then the binary number it was in a string format. Okay, so the binary number it was in string format. So I just want to be converting into the decimal number, then you have to give the matrix size 2. Okay, radix or base. Next one is, for example, just go on to see the octal number. Octal numbers means 0, which is represented with 0, and we can use anything except 8 and 9. So here we have to mention the 8 is your radix or base, and so hexadecimal 0x. 0x you can use anything, and we can use A to F, any character also we can use it. Okay, but here you should mention the 16. So this is the way the integer is the function. It can help you to convert binary to decimal and octal to decimal, as well as hexadecimal to decimal. Clear?
Yeah.
Any numbers system to decimal number system. Okay. And now next one is octal. For performing the octal, we can have a function is OCT function. Just a minute, guys. I'm getting a call from my dad.
Okay.
So let's try to convert octal number system to any number system. So for that one, we have a function is OCT. Okay. So OCT is a function. It can help you to convert any number system to octal number system. So we just mention any number in place of octal, then it can be converting into the octal number actually. Okay. Meanwhile, if you want to be converting into the hexadecimal, then we can have a function is exe function. So in place of exe or as an input, we can use any number. It can be octal, it can be anything. You just mention any number as an input for the x, then it was converting into the hexadecimal. Okay. Meanwhile, we have the bin function to converting into the binary number system. So bin of you can give any number, then it was converting into the binary number actually. Clear? Money?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yes. So this is the way we have some other number system conversion functions are there. And next thing is that we already seen some functions, right? Help function. So with help of the help function, you will get the any kind of information, or you'll get the some kind of documentary about each and every thing in a Python programming language. Okay. So dir is the function, it was giving the direction for each and everything. For example, what is the information is there inside of the int, then we can use the dir of int, then it was returning the all things inside of the int function. Okay, inside of the documentation format, it was giving some kind of important information only. Okay, but the same thing if I give as an input for the help, then it was giving the entire document. So it is having the entire documentation, but the previous thing is which is having only somewhat built-in functions. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. So meanwhile, you know what CHR is the function. It can help you to convert any number, the corresponding character. For example, I don't know what is the value of the 98. Then you just simply mention as CHR of 98. Then it was converting the corresponding character. Okay. Meanwhile, we have a character that you can able to converting into the number. For example, we have a number character Z is there, capital Z. The capital Z corresponding character number is 90. So this is ASCII values. This is the way CHR and ORD functions will help you. And for example, we have some data, we have some kind of group of data, and from this particular group of data, I would like to find the total sum of elements. Then we can use the sum function. For example, I want to find the maximum element from the some group of element, then we can use the max function, max of a. Okay, then we can have a min function. So with help of the min function, we can find the smallest number from the group of characters, sorry, group of elements. Okay, clear, right? Funny.
Yeah.
So like this, we have some kind of built-in functions are there. So these all built-in functions, it can help you to performing the some basic operations. Okay. So here I would like to tell you one thing, user defined functions. So user defined functions are very, very important in Python programming language. User defined functions. The user defined functions are defined by the def keyword and followed by the some particular function name. Some function name, def function name, and followed by the parenthesis. And so here we can give you the colon symbol and followed by the logic we have to write over here. Okay, so this just a structure I'm sharing with you, logic of the task. So whatever the task you want to be performing, that particular task we should mention inside of that particular block. Clear? So this is the way you can defining the user defined function. But if you want to execute this particular user defined function, make sure that this is the thing we are calling it's a function definition. This is the thing we are calling it's a function definition. And for execution of this one, you should have the function call. We should have the function call. Basically in Python programming language, so usually these functions calls or the program, it can be defined with name underscore underscore equal to underscore underscore main. So inside of this one only, we can call the function definitions. Okay, so this is exactly the structure for the program. Okay, so for example, if you want to write a professional program, then this is the structure we are going to be following. For example, the program, it might be consisting the, for example, this particular task which is printing the hello. Okay, so when you are calling the, so what happens here, just try to imagine yourself. So the program, this is the function, it won't be executed until unless you called it. Okay, so this is the command, this is also command, this is function definition. And see, if is the keyword which is checking this particular condition, this condition is true, default this particular condition is true. Once this particular condition is true, you're calling this particular function, so the cursor is going to this particular block, and inside of this one, this is the comment only. We have only one statement, that is print hello. So that the reason we are getting hello here, and after that one, which is come back to the where which is called. After that one, we don't have any statement, so that we are not getting any output, only hello we are getting as an output. Is it clear? For example, see money. So if you go for any program, this is the flow only we have it. Okay, for example, I defining the two functions. Okay, so we have the, let me consider, let me create you have the two function definitions. See how you created the function one, in the same way you may created the one more function. You can create the one more function. Okay, see, if you want to call the function one, we just mention the function name and followed by the parenthesis. Then after, we can call the function. If you want to call the function 2, we can use the function 2 here. See, if you're executing this one, so if you're executing this one, this is the function also was executed, this function also was executed. Maybe you can call the function 2 is the first, or function 1 is the second. Tell me what is the result now. If you are executing this one, can you tell me what is the result you might be getting?
Hi, hello.
Absolutely correct. First what happens, which is calling the function 2, then the function 2 service is done, then it is back into the main block, and within the main block, after the function 2, we are going to be calling the function 1, so that which is going to the hello we are going to printing as an output. Clear? So hi and hello is the output for this particular program. So this is the way you can able to defining your own function definitions. But when you're defining such kind of functions, when you're defining this kind of functions, maybe it may receive the inputs from the user also. I mean, it may be receiving from the function call. So the thing we are calling it's a arguments. So we can send the arguments to function call to function definition. Function call to function definition. Arguments is nothing but it's a data. Just a minute. Okay, so let's see. If you want to send the data from the function call to function definition, then we can send some data here. We can send the constants, we can send the expressions, we can send the some variables also. For example, a value is a 10 or 9 or 10, and we can send the constant as the argument to the function call to function definition, and we can send the variable, or we can send some expressions. Yes or no? This is some expression or not? See, this is the constant. When you're sending, the first argument will be storing into the first argument at function definition. For accessing this 10, for storing this 10, we should have the variable. We have to define one variable here. And for storing this second argument into function definition, okay, we can create the one more argument here. And this is the expression. If you want to, first this expression can be evaluated. The result of expression can be sending from function call to function definition. The result of this expression also can be stored into at function definition. For that one, we have to defining one variable. Okay. So now let's go for printing the x, and let's go for printing the y, and let's go for printing the z. Tell me what is the result of this particular program. Money, what could be the result you might be getting this particular program? So first, the entire thing, it won't be executed. This is true, so that the statement was executed. The value of a is 10, that's fine, and the function name 10. So this is the 10, we are calling the function name. So this is the function definition was there here, so that this is the cursor is moving to here, and this 10 will be holding into x, this a is holding into the y, and this entire expression can be evaluated. The result will be holding into the z.
Okay. 10 comma 10 comma.
It's not comma, so 10 will be holding into the x,
Yeah.
a will be holding into the y, and this expression will be holding into the z. So now we are going to
Equal.
print the x, so that the 10 will be printing, and we are going to printing the y value is the a value, so that a value is the 10, so that y also 10. When it comes to the z, so a into 4, it's at 40, 40 plus 3, it's a 43. So
Yeah.
we'll be getting the 10, 10, 43 is the result. Okay.
Yeah.
Clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the way you can send the data from function call to function definition. Okay. This is fine. Some situations what happens, unfortunately, you are missing this one. You're missing this one. Okay. Actually, you have to send the 3 arguments. Unfortunately, you send only 2 arguments. So this kind of situations, you might be getting this kind of error. Okay, type error. You might be getting this kind of type error. To overcome this one, you can able to mention the some default data. So I mentioned like none, right? Now while I explaining the none type, so we can store the none data into some specific variables, right? So that means when you're defining nothing, but you want to define that particular variable, but I don't want to store any kind of data as initially, then we can use the none. So here x is the none, y is the none, and z is also none. So when you're sending the first argument, this x will be replacing, this none will be replacing by the 10, and the second argument is a, which is replacing none by the a, and but we don't have any third argument at function call, so the default argument is the none. It can be considered, so that we are not getting any kind of error. So when you're mentioning the some default argument, so this kind of operation we are calling it say default arguments. So we can use the default argument so that to rectify some issues. Clear? Clear,
Yeah.
right? For example, let me consider So I want to be hold the a value into the y. Okay, so you can directly here the y equal to a, which means that the value of a is will be directly storing into the y. For example, z value for example 45, z value 456, the 456 will be holding into the z. Okay, so actually this is z, you're defining it a function call, so that means this is the value will be storing into the just we are not following any order, so we can randomly give you the name and the corresponding data. So this kind of operation, this kind of thing also, it can be supported in Python programming language. Usually this is not there in any other programming language. Okay,
Yeah.
so here x is 34. Now tell me what is the value of x and what is the value of y, what is the value of z now?
X value will be 34, Y value will be 10, and Z value will be 456.
See, previous one and this one, what is the difference? If you're not mentioning the name of the arguments, then it can be considering the order, which is following the order. Okay, if you mentioning the variable, we don't need to follow the order actually. I hope you clear, right?
Yeah.
So this is the default arguments and normal arguments, and if you are missing default arguments, and this is the positional argument, this kind of operation we're calling it say positional arguments. Positional arguments means we are mentioning which position you are going to be storing this argument. Okay, so default argument, positional argument, and normal arguments. Now, for example, if you performing some operation and you want to return back some result from the function call, then we can use the return keyword, return. Okay, so what is the use of the return? To send back data or something from function definition to function call. As of now, you send the data from the function call to function definition, right? But some situation, function definition to function call also, we can send back the data. For that one, we can use the return keyword. See, same example you did, and you're printing the x value and y value and z value. Okay, so here I want to do the addition of the x plus y plus z. Okay, that's my operation. So the value I would like to storing into some variable x plus y plus z. Okay, so I want to be written back it. So return back, return to C. When once if we are using the return, then whatever the data we have it, that it was written back it. So once it is the entire function was result will be the C value. This entire function was replaced with the value of the C. So to store that particular value, we can defining one variable. Okay, so when you are using the var equal to some function name, which means that whatever the data which is returning, the data will be holding into this variable. Okay, so let me try to print the var. Can you tell me what is the result now? Hello.
Yeah, it's 500.
So 500, right? Absolutely correct. This is the way you can able to create your own function definitions, and you can use the user defined functions. See, this things we seen previous, like these functions we seen, right? Like input function, help function, print function. These are all functions are already defined in Python. This format only with help of the def keyword and followed by the function name, and we can give you the some inputs, and it can be performing some operation, and it is written back it. But there the function definitions are already defined, As a programmer, we are just using something like this. Yes or no? This is the function call. Is there any difference between the print function and this function name? This is the function and this function, both are performing some tasks. But here this is the function was doing the addition, but this function is printing some information. Okay, is it clear?
Yeah.
Here also we have the parenthesis, here also we have the parenthesis. This is the value we are calling its argument. Here we have the 3 arguments are there. Clear?
Yeah.
So here the function definitions are 2 types: user-defined functions and free-defined functions. User-defined functions you can create with this particular format. Whenever you want to be use it, just we need to call it. But coming to the free-defined function, you don't need to define it. Whenever you want it, we can simply use a simple task actually. That's it. This is the way the user-defined functions you can create and we can use it. And this is the way we can call the free-defined functions. I hope you clear my point.
Yeah.
So in further sessions also, if I'm explaining anything, I would like to use the functions format only, because of any company or any project which is, it won't directly giving the code actually. They are going to be creating the program in a functions wise, in a blocks wise. Okay. So we are going to be creating the function in a blocks wise only. Okay. So that we can understand the subject in a faster way. So usually for my normal training, I cannot explain the functions in the third class. I can explain the functions class in a 10th or 15th class. Okay,
Okay.
but we don't have that much of time, right? So that's the reason I'm giving that very important information. So how we can create the functions in a program. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is mandatory things for us. So if you go for see any program in a real time, so there you should have some function. If you not learn the function, then it might be again problem for you. That's the reason I explained the functions. And the rest of the classes also, I used to use the functions. I would like to go for write the code in a functions format only. Okay, instead of
Okay.
writing the code directly, I can use the function, I can write the code. So we can habituate it in such a way. Clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's for today's class. I would like to upload this particular file into our Canvas folder so that it can help you to access it. Okay, done. Uploaded. The recording also you might be getting in a few hours.
Yeah.
See you. Bye. Take care.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Yeah.